What's going on YouTube? My name is Simon Sniped and welcome to the channel. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the Replacer Awaken unit, Replacer King. The man who will blow your mind away. Like my other unit review videos, I've left timestamps in the description below, so just jump to whichever section you wish to know more about the unit. Without further ado, let's get into it. Replacer King is a 6-cost defender class unit who excels not in tanking, but rather dealing uncontested AoE damage. Although he may not be a force to be reckoned with in any content aside from PvP, he's one incredibly powerful unit to play if the meta allows that week. What makes this unit unique is his ability to do damage to everything in front of him, all the way to your ship as long as the conditions are met. Whenever an allied unit dies, King gets a buff which converts his basic attack from merely punching those in melee range to commanding the winds to do his bidding. It is then not limited by valid hits, and it even hits the ship regardless of where he is on the field. The only weakness to it is the direction he is facing. If you play him right and protect the literal King from being killed, you can watch your enemy die helplessly as their ship crumble under the ever-cooling breeze of the wind. King himself doesn't do really impressive single target or highly explosive damage, but for what he does, everything else before doesn't matter. Awaken Replacer King, when compared to the other defenders, have more offensive stats such as base attack, crit chance, and hit. Unlike Awaken Hild or Nayubin, with more defense or evasion, King is clearly built to deal damage and is not there to take direct hits if you can help it. Although his other substats actually do contribute to helping the team mitigate some damage, but albeit a little bit more indirectly. Moving on to his skills, King's basic attack is his bread and butter trait. However, when without the passive effect, it is just a simple 3-punch combo that does negligible damage. What makes King an absolute ruler comes down to this: his passive skill, King of Neo-Humanity. When a non-mech ally dies, a replacer soldier of the same class is summoned in its place. Tower, siege, and support class units are excluded. When this happens, his basic attack has uncapped valid hit and range, meaning it will hit everything in the direction he is facing and is not affected by the amount of bodies in the direction. King also gets a 30% damage reduction buff, and both him and his summoned units becomes immune to hit stun effect from special skills or lower. The summoned units cannot be healed and loses 2% of HP every second. And at level 5, King and all his summoned replacers gain a default 20% damage reduction just by being on the field. King's special skill, Ground Ravager, is a basic AoE attack that stuns for 1 second and reduces the target's attack by 50% for 6 seconds at level 5. As for the ultimate skill, Dimensional Calamity, King flash steps forward and back, dealing AoE damage, removes all removable debuffs on him, and lastly gains immunity to all non-permanent debuffs for 15 seconds at level 5. So now let's talk about what King actually does when you play him in PvE or PvP. King is an exception when it comes to PvE. You really have no reason to use him anywhere whatsoever, except for a few niche meme team comps like for some Shadow Palace stages, and maybe in Regenerated Knight full auto DC teams. He doesn't do any more damage than any DPS unit, he can't soak damage like a defender should, and he doesn't provide any supportive effect to the team. So this time, his PvE verdict is super easy and short. He's not unplayable, there's just no reason to use him in any PvE modes. PvP is like King's literal castle, where he is quite uncontested for what he does. As his skill kit implies, you want to be able to position him nice and safe near to your ship while dropping things in front to tank and die, while the supports are dropped at the back to keep him alive. If you ever wish to use King in a PvP match, you'll need to switch up your noggins and approach with a completely different mindset to the fight. You do not want your tanking unit to not die forever, because if you do, you better have something in your deck that can be used as a sacrificial drop to proc King's passive. As we've seen in many regions, like the KR servers and the C servers, there are a lot of ways that you can play to make King work. For example, Kang So-young works great, Ingrid is fine, and obviously summoned units from Blue Bridge Mark II also does the job. If King is your PvP team's win condition, then you'll also need to know that he can be completely shut down by a few things. As powerful as his buff basic attack is, it matters not if he's punching the wrong way. Literally, punching air. So you have to watch out for enemy deploying units behind him, which will buy your opponent very much needed precious time. On one more thing to note about King is that his enhanced basic attack is a removable buff, which is why buff removers like Yensing Lanchester, Machine Collector, Kami Izumi's Skill 1, and Operator Serena can stop your King from being effective. A King that can't blow wind is absolutely useless. Gearing King is also very straightforward. He benefits most from attack speed, ground damage, and skill haste in that order. You can slap on some damage reduction substats, but there really is no reason to, since you want him to do damage while you sacrifice things left and right to keep him safe and uninterrupted. As for the best ship to go with him is by far Blue Bridge Mark II, and that's only because the ship's S2 summons 3 pods, which will summon 3 adds each on intervals, feeding King the fodder he needs to trigger his enhanced attack. The synergy is also great when deployed units get a speed and attack speed increase of 30% for 8 seconds. So as a general conclusion, Replacer King is a very PvP-centric unit and works with a very niche comp. It will be very dominant in the meta for a very long time, because even in the other regions at the moment, when Kings and his supporting units and ship are unbanned, it really is very difficult to fight against it other than a mirror matchup or a very specific counter comp. So I would say he's literally the king of PvP, if uncontested. And we've covered all that I'd like to share about Replacer King. However, for the verdict this time, I'm gonna separate it into 2 scores. If you're an absolutely free-to-play player, then this is a hard pass since it's only available via Battle Pass. However, when his banner comes in the future for you to pull, I rate Replacer King a 7 out of 10. Just because he may not have that early release age he gets in PvP, and there are more units available to deal with him. For those who are able to spend in the game, this is an easy, solid 9 out of 10. Now, if you can guarantee an awakened unit for the price of a battle pass, it's a no-brainer, and even if you did not want King for any reason, which I do not know why, the resources given in the pass is still really good. With that, I hope you could make your own decision as to get Replacer King or not. Hopefully this guide was helpful, and I'll see you guys in the next stream or video soon. Bye!